All right, let's continue. All right, so where we left off was to make a suggestion here. And about this comment, but also what could happen here. So the comment here isn't really correct because block is also available on, let's just say arrays for now, arrays, and could be used as such. And let's say pluck ID, luck ID. However, then you get into the case of where we get a false positive from another AR active record focused cop where it warns about use of pluck on active record relations. And let's bold this because I think that's called out. That being said, uh, the only blocking part of this suggestion is to correct the reason. That is, I believe, use. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we did enable the pluck cop for a reason. Let's see what it says. Well, I mean, okay, this is correct. I mean, it's one for the other. I mean, I mean, the fact that it triggers other active record cops um, incorrectly is immaterial to the core suggestion of using pluck. And we enable pluck. So, I mean, I think we should disable the right ones for the right reasons here. Um, and then look at, fixing our use of pluck somehow or making it more intelligent instead of not following the styling pluck that is correctly alerting here. So let's do that. And I'm just waiting for this to light up. So it takes okay. So it's saying for pluck. Okay, so let's do that. Pluck ID and see what other active record. I think it's going to come up with the code reuse one. There it is. Yeah, two of them. Yeah, like that's I get why the person opted for one disabling versus the other, but technically, yeah. But I think that's really annoying. I can understand the annoyance, but um false positive. And there's no way to do it for multiple ones except like this. It's annoying. We need a better API for. We need to either. We need to either two things. Figure out a better API for allowing disabling in a nicer way, maybe. False positive on and right. Or we need to fix these cops. I mean, this is just ridiculous at this point. Like, would I do this? Like, or I disable the other one. The only problem I got with disabling the other one is disabling it for the wrong reasons. But it's more of a signal. Stuff is just ridiculous. But let's see. Let's try to formulate that. I understand the reason here for here here for disabling this one over the other two. However, I look at this as a signal that we need to fix those false positives positives. Oops. Or turn them off. All right. Or like the one we did disable here was the only one that was really signaling to us correctly. So we should prioritize it first. Below is ugly. Okay, let's do it. And I'm just going to CC my friend in the desires of making Rubocop nicer world. And maybe uh, uh, hmm, there it is. Okay, cool. Okay. I feel somewhat good about that, about making that comment. Okay, and so then let's look at these side by side again. Back to where we were, just seeing, okay. I'm looking at this code, and I want to compare it to this code because I want to make sure they're the same thing. Boy. Okay, if response, success, and data. Where's this response coming from? Here? Is it really our old way of getting responses? Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, there it is. Okay, got it. That's suboptimal. Maybe it's best. I don't know. Okay, response and response data. Now we have eligible IDs, data to H, response data, eligible namespaces, eligible IDs. And we're filtering on eligible IDs include our namespace. Uh, okay. We're filtering to see if eligible ID is included on those, and those will give. Okay. I feel like select might speak more to me there than filter. I'm just gonna leave that as a non-blocking comment question. Uh, when I was reading this line and felt like I really would understand this better, easier, quicker if we used select instead. In case it resonates with you as well. Not a question. Let's do a thought. Yeah, let's do. I'm not really sure. We select the same thing there. Or I want to give the best thing, but I don't want to actually have to test it out really fully. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Do the same thing. Cool. All right. Just a thought there. Okay, and that matches how we were doing things in this how. Namespaces, each with object. Okay, the object is an array. What are we passing back the data here? Okay, data is, it must be namespaces. Next, unless it includes, okay, and this is throwing everybody back to it. Okay, and so we're getting a hash of arrays, an array of hashes in the old way. And for this way, we're getting um, yeah, how's that different? That's strange. How's it being handled? Um, there must be something I'm not understanding. Namespaces that each with object, and in that object of data is these, right? And then like, but in our new code, we're taking those. We're taking the data and we're only getting the ID. Too sad, gives us a uniqueness, I guess. Is that something that was needed before? Let's ask that question. I know I've had problems where I put stuff on the same line. Do this. Just ask that question. I don't know why. And what is this doing? This is getting the eligible namespace. So this must be an array. That's weird. It kind of looked like it was supposed to be namespaces, but we're calling it namespaces. I'm not really sure if that's what comes back from this thing. Um, but we're calling it namespaces, and that makes me think that it's like an active record object. Maybe it's not. No, namespaces are what we're passing in. Okay, passing in names. And we're making it an array. Oh, well, that's just in there. I really don't know what to make of this. Okay, this is definitely namespaces, so I'm going to focus on that. And okay, and then what is this doing? What was this doing before? Okay. All right. Eligible namespace is what comes back from the fetcher. Namespace is what we set in. We reconcile those two things. Okay. And like what comes back off of this thing? Like what does the data structure look like? That's what I'm not sure of. Let's see if there's a test. It's in REST. It's in GraphQL. Test. Okay. What does it look like? Okay, it looks like this. Okay, what? Data map ID. What's the response though? Eligible namespace filter. Okay. Eligible namespace filter. And the response is that and of data. Okay, so data and dig and data equals dig. Wow, that is bad. I really dislike that pattern. And so does Rubicop. The readability is ugly. Okay. Okay, so then at this point we're getting back, that's why we're digging on IDs here. Okay, so we're digging on IDs, plucking the IDs, got it. We're filtering out the ones that don't exist. Okay, this looks all good to me. Okay, that looks all good. The question is, what was it doing before and how did that equate to this? Responsive data, 2H, data of ID. I guess these other things existed in there, account ID and subscription. I don't know. It doesn't show it here. It's not detailed here, so strange. Let's ask a question. Non-blocking. Okay. Ask. You could go to CDOT and try to decipher it. That's not the scope of this merge request. Okay, so what it's doing is throwing these all on here, and that became data. And then data was passed back, the payload. And we're not using it now, but did we ever use it? Like, oh, this is such a hard thing to understand for me. So we were calling that there, pluck on namespace. And then like, I guess that plucked only the thing we wanted off of it because it contained. So here's the data. Yeah, so it plucked this one thing off. Got it. This stuff was just noise. Or maybe at some point in time it was used, not now. Okay, that's a good change. Um, okay, and I do want to add like a little comment in here about like where should I put this comment about here? Let's block. Let's take out the word blocking. I think we should get to a place here where we are always returning an active record relation. This also goes hand in and with the suggestion that the service here really doesn't qualify as one and should be a finder. Ideally, once we convert to a finder, we'll merely have the call to it as the result here. And we can also tuck all of the early return logic into the finder and return active, no, name space none in those cases. I hesitate on how you're asking to do a lot here. This is a refactor, so I think there's agency to do it here to increase the scope, change the service to a finder, or at least really think about doing that in figuring out a way, because I feel like I want to say like now that you should be referring namespace none here instead of an array. I feel that to have it sometimes return a relation, sometimes return an active an array is not great, and we can improve upon that with current standards and abstractions we have right now. And like if we think go down a little bit deeper, then like so I could say like let's just make keep it as a service and then for now, and then handle the finder in a follow-up, and we can just make sure we go into the service and make sure all the arrays are sending back is as namespace dot none. But then we're like hacking more towards the service way, and where I really think we're getting a strong signal here, this should be a finder. And so that's the way we'll try to approach this, or I'll try to approach reviewing this. Now find eligible namespace. Got it. Got it, got it, got it, got it, got it. And what does this do? I think the finder's just going to solve this too. Yeah, yeah. Let's say what we want to say here. Um, go to GitLab subscriptions. Can I give a little bit more of a hint of where this finder might belong? Should be a GitLab subscriptions there. Yeah, let's kind of mock up what this might look like. Yeah, I think tucks nicely into here. Let's do a purchase eligible. Let's not do fetch. Let's do finder. New user. I don't know what that interface will look like. Let's take a little hint here. Okay. User. I don't, yeah, it's just asking about that specific one. That's fine. We're asking eligible that one. Got it. But we're doing the whole query. Anyways, it's not a change. Is this actually in here? Any self-service something? It's fine. I think it's execute on finders. Let's see. Yep. Execute. And then we can do like something like that. I think that fits. And that's going to get in a relation. So let's do include. Where are we calling this? Does it have to be an ID? Where's ID? Okay, that's find eligible namespace. Where's find eligible namespace? Where's find eligible namespace being called? Oh, these are two of these. Yeah, interesting. Eligible. Okay, this is calling eligible. Okay, got it. It's calling eligible. And why is there an option for a namespace ID here? Find eligible namespace. Okay. Find eligible namespaces, not the same thing. Find eligible namespace. And that's getting the ID. Does it always have to be the ID, or is that just a choice? Okay, it does. Okay, fair. Uh, okay, let's go back to this and this. And dot include, it's not include at that point. I'm getting drawing a blank. This returns an AR relation. How might I find the one find one in here by ID, and if not, and if found, return, but if not, do not return. I think I should just be find eligible namespaces. I feel like that's going to be the pattern I want to see. Oh. Okay. So, okay, so these things, the only difference is plural versus not here, I guess. And so, well, this one says any, but it's passing as nil. Fetch purchasable, fetch purchase eligible. I guess you can send in the any to it. Not in that case. Not in that case. Nope. Hey. I think we're playing for code that doesn't exist yet. Okay, let's focus. It's hard for me to see the shape of this in the current state. So I'm just going to give a rough idea. Let's do that. Okay, let's do that. I feel like I spent enough time on this, and there's enough change being suggested that there's not going to be much value in me continuing to review right now, based on I'm going to have to review those things when we switch to a finder or based on other changes here. So I think I'm going to wrap this up and just okay. Um, Okay, let's do that. I think I'm gonna do one more thing. And this is more of a me thing. And that is I don't like scrolling. And since these screenshots have low value, even if they had high value in my own, I would do this. And I think I'm gonna just collapse these. Is that the English spelling? Okay, let's do that. That makes it like so much easier to, in my opinion, scroll. Okay, and then I don't have so much to scroll through to get to the meat. Okay, and that should be it for now.